So, if you've watched my video ranking the top 10 desert tracks in Mario Kart, you'll know that I don't really like desert levels that much in Mario games or video games in general for that matter. I know I share this opinion with many others, but I've decided that today I'm going to give these desert levels a fair chance. Usually, desert levels are pretty boring and the gimmicks they bring to a game are either really lame or actually make the gameplay worse. However, I'll admit that there are some levels in the Super Mario series that take place in a desert that are actually pretty fun. So today, I'm going to list off the top 10 best desert levels throughout the Super Mario series. This list will be based on how fun the levels are, what gimmicks they have to stand out, and anything else I like about them. So without further ado, let's go! If you've watched my video ranking every Mario NES game, you'll know that I think Super Mario Bros. 3 is the best Mario game on the NES. However, while it was cool to have proper themes for each world and the levels you'd play them in, the desert world was always my least favorite. They just didn't have the same level of charm or fresh ideas as other levels in the game, and picking just one level that stood out was difficult. However, after replaying these levels, I'm gonna have to go with 2-1. This level at least tries to throw some interesting stuff at us that was new to the series back then. For example, this is when we first got to see these fire snake enemies that are basically living balls of fire that hop around trying to burn you to a crisp. There's also these tiny Goombas hiding in the stacks of bricks that try to jump onto you, which is pretty creative. And yeah, that's about it. Listen, I wasn't expecting much from this level since it's on the NES, but it's unbelievably short, and when compared to other levels that we'll get to in a bit, this is pretty lame. Super Mario 3D Land is a very interesting game. This was the first Super Mario game in the series to not have proper themes for each of the levels you visit within a world. You could be in the middle of the jungle in one level to be thrown into a clock in the next. Because of that, there was no one world in the game that was just desert levels for me to pick from. That being said, there are some desert levels scattered throughout the game, and the one I'm picking for this list is 3-1. This level takes place on a giant tower in the middle of the desert. This tower contains things like thwomps, wall-ups, pokies, and those spiky enemies made out of blocks that like to float around. You can go inside the tower, which contains more enemies and a couple platforming challenges. Aside from the tower, there's also this small area on the side that has even more pokies, and those giant sand creatures that pop out of the ground to try and eat you. This level is fine, it really is, but just like a lot of 3D Land levels, it gets old quick and isn't very memorable. I've mentioned this a couple times on my channel, but I'm not the biggest fan of New Super Mario Bros. U. It's not a bad game, but it's when the New Super Mario Bros. Series really started to get boring. However, one thing it did right was take the regular desert world and turn it into Layer Cake Desert. It's still a desert world, but now with an emphasis on desserts and pastries. The levels in this world are actually pretty good, and the one I'm picking for this list is Spike Sprouting Sands. As the name suggests, this level features a ton of spikes throwing giant balls of death at you, and there's a bunch of tall pillars of sand that shoot from the ground that help you reach higher places. There's also some Koopa Troopas walking or flying around for you to avoid, and you've got a few secret areas to find that let you get star coins. This level isn't too crazy in depth, it is a New Super Mario Bros. Level after all, but it's fun for what it is. New Super Mario Bros. Wii is one of my favorite Mario games of all time. Not only do I have a lot of nostalgia for it, but it's a genuinely fun 2D platformer that introduced a lot of cool stuff before the series started to develop into mediocrity. It also has quite a few fun and memorable levels, and one of them, surprisingly, is a desert level, that being 2-4. The main gimmick of this level is that dusty winds blow across the stage that will push you to the right. There's even some coins flying around in the wind, which is a nice detail. Thankfully, you're also given the power of the propeller mushroom to navigate through the level a lot faster. However, you don't want to go too fast because enemies like Koopas and Piranha Plants will get in your way if you're not careful. There's also a bunch of bottomless pits scattered throughout the stage, so you'll have to be careful to fly over those. I really like this level because of its more frantic nature, and it definitely stands out among other levels in the game. When I was coming up with what to include on this list, I knew I had to pick a level from Super Mario Bros. 2 on the NES, because that game has some pretty cool desert levels. In fact, this game has 2 whole worlds that are entirely made up of desert levels, so I had quite a few stages to pick from, but I was able to decide on 2-3. This level starts off with you walking across the desert sands, but there's a bunch of these enemies flying around trying to stab you with pitchforks, as well as a few other enemies trying to get in your way. After that, you head into this underground area that makes you dig all the way down to the bottom of the sand pit with Shy Guys wandering around, and you have to grab this cursed key, which makes this masked enemy float around and attack you. And the final section of this level has you fighting against this 3-headed snake guy, which is really cool. This is the first great level on this list. It's very fun and has a lot of creativity to stay interesting. New Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo DS was a fantastic return to form for 2D Mario games. Not only did this game bring back everything people loved about the original games, but it also introduced a hearty dose of new to freshen the experience. That being said, I was having trouble finding the right desert level to put on this list, because they're mostly just whatever or don't even take place in the desert at all. But then, I played 2-Castle, and immediately knew this was going to be on the list. Unlike other castles in the game, this one actually takes advantage of its theme by partially being in the desert. The first part of the level has you avoiding these giant spike balls rolling around in the castle, but then you head outside where bullet bills are being shot at you and more spike balls are rolling around. And finally, you have this boss fight against a mummified Pokey that pops out of the ground and shoots projectiles at you. This level is really cool. It may not be as inventive as other levels on the list, but it's just more fun, and that's what matters to me more than gimmicks. One of my favorite new things introduced in Super Mario 3D World is Plessy, a large orange reptile that you'll occasionally get to ride to get through some sweet slide levels. Most of the time, these Plessy rides take place on the water, whether they're just small sections or entire levels. However, there just so happens to be a Plessy level in this game that takes place in the desert, and that level is called Plessy's Dune Downhill. This level is a giant slide level where you'll zoom down this sandy course and try not to fall to your death due to the lack of guardrails across the entire level. Disregarding the fact that sliding on sand with your bare belly has gotta hurt like hell, this level is really fun. Not only is the level very fast paced, but it can actually get pretty challenging. Like I said, there's no guardrails to keep you on the stage, and there's a bunch of sand statues and enemies that you can run into, which will knock you off the course. Again, this level isn't as mechanically deep as others, but it's just pure zany fun that actually takes skill to beat, and that's why this level is so high on the list. Want to know what makes Super Mario Galaxy as awesome as it is? It's the levels. I mean, come on, Gusty Garden Galaxy, Honey Hive Galaxy, and Battle Rock Galaxy are just a few of the amazing levels you'll find throughout your adventure. And, once again, there is a desert level that you'll find in the game, and while it's not quite at the same level as greatness as most of the other levels, there's still plenty of fun to be had in Dusty Dune Galaxy. This level takes place in a galaxy of desert planets, with most of them featuring deep sand that will kill you if you fall into it. This level also features enemies like dry bones, pokies, birds that like to bombs, and these cute little tornado guys. This level will have you doing all sorts of crazy stuff to collect stars, such as climbing this tall tower, collecting silver stars in this pyramid, guiding bullet bills around, and other cool things. While this isn't a personal favorite from Super Mario Galaxy, it's still a really fun level, and the new gimmicks it introduced really make it stand out. While I think that Super Mario Galaxy is a better overall game, I can't deny that its sequel, Super Mario Galaxy 2, does some pretty awesome stuff as well, some of which is even better than the original. It introduced brand new power-ups, new mechanics, and had its own lineup of spectacular levels. Also, in my opinion, this game has a much cooler take on a desert level than Galaxy 1. Welcome to Slip Sand Galaxy, the runner-up for first place on this list. This level features a lot of fast-moving sand that will either speed you up or slow you down, depending on which star you're tackling. I actually really like this gimmick because it forces you to be a lot more careful when platforming, and one small slip up will cause you to fall off the stage or run into an enemy. There's also this really fun section where you go down this long slide and these stone guys trying to squish you along the way. Stars you collect in this galaxy will make you do things like fighting this boss called Squizzard, riding on this sandbird over some quicksand, and there's the Prankster Comet and green stars. This level is honestly extremely fun. It's got a ton of cool features to keep it entertaining while not being too boring or too gimmicky to ruin the fun. But with all that said, let's finish off with number 1. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. The best desert level in the Super Mario series, without a doubt, is the Sand Kingdom from Super Mario Odyssey. Not only is it one of the largest kingdoms in the game, but it's unbelievably fun and jam-packed with stuff to do. This world takes the regular desert theme and combines it with an icy theme to spice things up. You'll collect moons in this Mexican town that has a bunch of these skeleton folk in the middle of these ancient ruins with bullet bills and Goombas roaming around inside of this inverted pyramid that floats above the ground. And you'll even explore the underground world that has lots of ice, and this boss battle that tries to punch you with those big-ass hands. On top of that, there's a bunch of other secrets for you to discover, such as getting to ride this stone lion thing, giant bullet bill mazes, finding hidden moons with these cool stones wearing sunglasses, and beating the game will allow you to come back and find a whole new collection of hidden moons. This world is just fantastic. It takes what would otherwise be a boring desert and freshens it up in so many awesome ways, making it not only one of the best Mario Odyssey kingdoms, but the best desert level in the Super Mario series. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then make sure to give it a like, and let me know down in the comments which one of these levels is your favorite. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel with notifications on so you'll know when I post more videos like this. Have a great day, stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next one.